evening to viewers as well on this week in interview. Welcome. Gather around, pick up your phone and text, share live. We are live on this week in interview. It's Wednesday, June the 26th, 2024. And always is the highlight of my week to spend an hour and a half, sometimes we stretch it, with you. And I enjoy your company. I want to say welcome back and go get your drink, your favorite beverage. If that happens to be water, then it's fine. If it happens to be something more spirited, that's fine too. But get your favorite drink. And while you're doing that, let everybody know that this week is in interview is live, and they should tune in because we have a really dynamic discussion and tap for you tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about goals. I know it's not New Year's, but it's a direct follow-up to New Year's. In the start of the year, or on your birthday, or any significant date, you make plans. You decide, this is what I want to go after. This is what I want to achieve. And so June being the middle of the year, halfway mark in 2024, I wanted to just jog you a little bit, just nudge you, poke you, if you want to call it that, and say, why? Hey, how are you doing? Have you achieved those goals yet? Are you well on your way? Are you at least halfway there? Are those goals no longer important to you? So that's what it is. And of course, I invited Miss Cleo Michael. She's a certified life coach to join us. So she can guide the discussion, guide the conversation, give us pointers about it. And so that's what I'm saying. We have a very interesting and hopefully one that you are going to feel and how do you say it, engaged in. I feel that it personally applies to you. So we're going to be right back. Like I said, invite your folks to join us, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome. Was enough time for you to go get refresh your drink and invite folks to join us. If you are listening to us or viewing us on one of these social media pages, Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, give us a like. If you haven't, follow us, give us a notification. The link is on the screen, that you can share, so that anyone that you share it with can get access to this weekend interview. I want to say a very special good night to our regular listeners, those of you who come back every Wednesday and share this time with us. And one of you is Anis. Anis usually is on every Wednesday as part of this weekend interview. I don't know if she's on tonight because she's going through a little bit of a rough time. I saw she posted that her mom has passed on a few days ago. So our sincere condolences to one of the members of our TDN family, a real true supporter of the program of this weekend interview. And you're in our thoughts. We send you strength and grace. Any one of you as well who are going through any sort of trial or challenging time, um, we wish you comfort. From Castle Bruce, Edo, Edward Constance Edo, um, passed away. He passed away in Houston. So condolences to his family. He's very close family to a very close family of mine. So it's like his family as well. Um, it's sad. It's sad. But that just reminds me, folks. Um, you know, go check yourself. You know what to do, because if you're a listener to This Week in Interview, we always tell you, men go do your regular, women go do your colonoscopy at least once every 5 years. Do your prostate exam every year. Women do your pap smear and your breast exams and all of those things, right? Take care of you because we want you. We want you to be around, to continue to enjoy spending time with you. All right. So tonight, oh, but let me also say that if you're listening to us tonight for the first time, welcome. I hope you like the program sufficiently that you too will become a regular listener, a viewer to This Week in Interview. And if you're listening to us on RVR Jams in Dominica, um, DG Play Channel 59, RVR Jams, an online radio station, and they carry This Week in Interview live. Also, Radio SBE, it's an online radio station in the Toronto market. They carry uh, This Week in Interview live. And I know a number of you see this program after the Wednesday, because there's so many programs that go on. Um, there's so many programs that go uh, on the Wednesday that you don't get to catch it live. But I get the reports, and thousands look at it after the fact. So if you're looking at it and you're not live with us, also, I want to say special good greetings to you. It could be day or night or whatever. All right, so let's get into the business of what we are here for tonight. Uh, Last week was the summer solstice, which was the longest day of the year. That happens, I use that as my mark for the halfway mark of the year. Um, June, 6 months into the year. And although some folks say they don't believe in New Year's resolution, we do, and this week in interview, believe that a good time to set goals is at the beginning of the year. It's a brand new year. Most people have that reset, that fresh start. And we say, this year, I want to grow my bank account by so much. I want to grow my career by so much. I want to do that type of relationship with my son, my daughter, my husband, my wife, my mother, my brothers, my nieces, my nephews. I want to show up more in my church. I want to do more community work. Any one of those goals that you set, uh, and you set it for the year, so that in December you want to look back and say, "Wow!" You get that shot of dopamine that says, "This is what I said I was going to do this year, and I did it. I did it. It was a struggle, but I achieved it, or I did it and I did even a little bit more." Now, the best way to make sure that you can say that in December is to, as the year goes along, take an assessment. How am I doing? Do I need to adjust? Blah, 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 and so on. And I think a perfect time to do that is now. And so I invited with Cleo Michael to come on with us, because she is our in-house life coach. She's a certified life coach. She's also certified in addiction. She's an addiction professional, so I guess helping folks to understand their addictive behavior and to try to move beyond it, move past it. And so I reached out to her and say, "Hey, I think we should be helping our folks to do an assessment." And of course, she always says yes. And we love her for that, and we are grateful for that, because folks are really, really busy. So let's bring Miss Cleo up, to tell a very warm welcome to you, on this week in interview. There you go. That smile. Yeah. Well, a very warm welcome to you, to to this interview. It's good to have you, and thank you for accepting my invitation.
Well, thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come back and partake with your audience. So, thank you to you, and thank you to the TDN Network.
All right, you're very welcome. It's always a pleasure to have you. Uh, Tell us about, because I know you have, or you call it a coaching business, is that what you call it, or counseling?
Yes,
Coaching, right?
yes, coaching. Yes.
Coaching business. So tell us about your, and maybe introduce yourself as well, because we pick up new members in the audience all the time. So let's give a little background of you and the services that you provide, and tell us about whatever improvements that or developments that have happened since you've been here.
Okay, well, thank you for that. For those of you who don't know me, or this is your first time listening to me, my name is Cleo Michael, and I am originally from the U.S. Virgin Islands, but I have roots in Dominica,
In Castle Bruce.
Castle Bruce. Yes, that's right. And St. Lucia as well. So I am very multi Caribbean.
Yep, yep.
um, but anyways, as you stated earlier, I'm a certified addiction professional. So I do work with people that have substance use disorders. And likewise, I am a certified life coach. And so I do have a coaching business. And if you want to find out more about that and what I do, you can go to setyourselffree.io, and you are able to view my website there, and it lists all the services that I provide. In addition to that, since I have been here, I have put my business in the metaverse, which is like an online platform similar to all the other platforms they have out there. But
Hmm,
this one is
hmm,
kind of
hmm,
like in a gaming type of way. So
hmm.
you can come as like your avatar, and we can do exactly what we're doing here right now and communicate with each other. But you don't have to see me as me. You can see me as my avatar, and I can do one-on-one sessions in there. Looking to launch in the coming months my podcast in there to make it just a different view and a different feel. So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
So 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 set yourself free dot
Dot
io.
io. Yes.
io, right?
Yes.
And you said you've launched on the an AI platform.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And
Mhm.
in there I can come in as an avatar.
Yes, you can. You can
Mm,
come in to I have like a storefront, just like you go to the mall and there are different stores in the mall and you can browse the malls.
right.
I My business is in a like an AI type world, a mall,
Mm-hmm.
and you can, and there are other businesses in there as well, and you can go in and purchase their services, and likewise myself as well. And then I have a space in the back where I can do one-on-one sessions or um, my podcast, and people can come and
That's
join. And we can,
interesting. Mm.
yeah, and you gotta check it out
I'm definitely going to. So if I go to
after.
setyourselffree.io, then I
Yes.
enter that space and I can
Mm-hmm.
check out your vibe and then whatever and the whole
Yes.
environment in there.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
You can.
Interesting,
Yeah. The
interesting.
only
Very,
thing
very.
is to get into it, you'll have to download another app. It's called Spatial, because that's the platform that runs it. But
Mhm.
once you do that, you show up. You can dress up your avatar however you want to do it. But it's just taking your business to the next level, because that's where technology is taking over, right?
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
have to kind of move with it. And our world is getting younger, and so we want to be able to cater to those um, target audiences. So it's a nice way, another way to add to your business.
And so with folks who may have a little bit of an issue with privacy or whatever it is, that's a way that they can actually show up and not and be anonymous in that sense because they show up as their avatar, right?
Right. Think of it. It's kind of similar to Zoom, right? It's
Hmm.
similar to it, except you can. It's the environment is created so you can create it anyhow you want. Mine is kind of like there's like a couch in there, and your avatar can sit on the couch, and we can have this conversation. It's private. There's nobody in there. Um, and I can, it has multiple purposes, so I can do individuals in there, I can do groups in there, and then if I wanted to do like a podcast in there and show it and share my screen much like I do with Zoom, I have the availability to do that as well. And people can watch and participate as well.
Okay, great. Wow,
Hmm.
wow, wow. All right. So tonight we're here. I brought you here so that we could talk about goal setting.
Yes.
Do you hear a lot about I don't believe in New Year's resolutions or whatever, whatever? And
Yeah.
how do you react to that if whether in a professional setting or more casual setting, somebody says that?
Hmm. So people do say that. I've heard it, and you know, it's kind of one of those things where you ask them, do you set goals and do you work towards
All
them?
right, right.
I,
Hmm.
that's kind of what, because that's essentially what it is. It's just that sometimes when we set New Year's resolutions, sometimes they're so broad, and they're not realistic, and they're not relevant, and then we don't stick to them,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So it's kind of like changing the mindset or how we view it, and then going from there. So if you look at it as, setting a goal, but your goal has to be specific, and your goal has to be measurable, and it also there has to be a time frame to it, and it has to be relevant and
Right,
realistic.
right, right,
And
right.
I think
Hmm.
most of the times people don't buy into it because they've set goals, but they're not realistic, and it's what's the way the what I'm looking for? It's kind of like it's so overwhelming that they're not able to reach it. But if you can set goal, you can have a overall goal, and if you break it down into smaller goals with steps, and then you work up the steps, it makes it
Hmm.
easier to reach the goal. So yeah, it's kind of like shifting the mindset, and really learning how
Right.
to accurately set up a goal. That makes
Uh,
a difference.
Yes. So I read somewhere, I don't remember who said it, but it says that if you say you can, you're correct. If you say you can't, you're also correct. So a big part of achieving the goal is really believing that you can achieve that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you set a goal beyond where in your mind you can achieve that goal, then you will not pursue it because you in your mind you already conclude that it's an impossible goal.
Right.
Um, so let's talk about. I know we had assuming that folks had already set their goals, right? And we're trying to get them to do an assessment. But just in case, there are some people whose New Year's fall in June, or or the New Year's resolution thing just fall apart, and they say, maybe I can just set new goals. Let's talk about goal setting. Why is it important to set goals?
It's important to set them so that you, first of all, you know what you're working towards, right? And once you set it and you do it the right way, it kind of helps you stay on task, and that's where we get to this point where we evaluating those goals so
Hmm.
that we see what our progress is, what our lack of progress is. What did we learn? What things do we need to change? That kind of thing.
Right,
So it's important to set goals so we can see growth or make progress or have something to work towards in our life.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they said, if you don't have a goal, you'll never achieve it. Uh, it it's like a ship. If you think of your life as a ship and you're the captain of a ship, if you leave Dominica and you just push your ship, your boat, or whatever it is out to sea, what are the chances that you're going to end up where you want to end up? Almost zero, because there's a there's a few countries. They probably have one harbor. that you can come in safely. And so if you don't know where you're going, chances are you're going to end up on some rocks. You're going to end up off gas, because if you don't know where you're heading, any road will take you there. And so that is what it is. You have to set goals. And uh, it's always good. I think it's good psychologically to use an occasion as a marker of when you set goals. And the start of the year seems to be a good marker. That's all a New Year's resolution is. Okay, so somebody set goals in January, uh, and now we're in June. Talk about what is the process, the mindset, the thinking that should be happening now in June, if somebody who did set goals in January.
Well, at this point, you want to have like a checkpoint to kind of see,
Right.
you know, how am I doing with this goal. And you don't have to necessarily wait till now. You could have checkpoints along the way.
Hmm.
You know, you could say, hey, I want to check on my, depending on what the goal is, you know, what would be a realistic time for me to check on my progress. And it could be once a month, it could be once a week, it could be every 2 months, whatever. But now we're at, you know, the 6 month mark, and so you want to check to see how you're doing on that goal that you set for yourself. Do you need to break it down further? Is it realistic at this point? You want to evaluate, you know, what's going on with the goal. How have I progressed from January to now? Am I where I want to be? um, is there anything that I've learned that I could change? Another thing that you could do is, if you find yourself not knowing what's the next step, you can, you know, have conversations with, you know, like a mentor or a coach or a friend, somebody who can give you feedback on, you know, your progress, how what they see that you're doing, and is there anything that you could change. Especially if it's something, if you're working on something that someone has done before. Like if you're decided that you want to start a business, and you want to assess how you're doing or the progress that you're doing with the business. You want to seek out other people who have done it before so that they can provide you that guidance on, you know, here's some things that you could do. You know, for me, when I started the coaching business,
Hmm.
you know, I didn't have that. I kind of had to figure things out, and it would be helpful. They say if you're gonna be doing something, get someone that can coach you and mentor you through, and you have some feedback, you have some guidance, and you can assess it, and then make changes, because that's the other thing. You want to make adjustments. You know, do I need to
Right.
make
Right.
adjustments
Hmm.
to this goal to make it more achievable? And like I said earlier, do I need to break it down further? And and then, if you have been making progress, whether it's big, whether it's small, especially the small ones, you want to give yourself credit, you know,
Right.
celebrate
Right.
the things that you have accomplished. So, having goals is important. Being able to evaluate them is important. Being able to, you know, write down your progress, right? And look back on it helps you to see, oh man, I need to, you know, celebrate this right now, because looking at my notes that I took for the last 6 months, I have come a long ways. They might not be huge steps, but it's a long way from where I was 6 months ago, and I am going to celebrate that.
Right. And the thing about it is that being able to set goals and go after your goals, being able to even to set goals is a skill. Uh, and so the whole process of setting goals, the whole process of pursuing goals is something that can be learned. And
Right.
and so if you set goals in January and now 6 months later you have more knowledge about those goals than you did in January. I guess that's it. So that's what I'm hearing you say, is that you can evaluate, because you said goals are supposed to be measurable. Well,
Right.
did you really understand what measurable meant? Because now that is June and you're looking back, are you able to measure progress?
Right.
And if you're
Right.
not if you're not able to measure progress, then how do you what else do you need to take into account?
Mm-hmm.
And also you mentioned something about writing down and taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
That's important because I mean some of us cannot remember what we had for lunch yesterday.
Right.
You know? Oh, but okay, I'm saying that in jest. But if I were to ask you, um, on Monday, what was the high temperature on Monday? Or what
Right.
was it? You don't remember if it rained, you don't remember if there was a shower, you don't remember so much stuff. So
So,
so
give me
one of the
1 second.
sure. So one of the things that one of the things that you we should be learning if we is to recognize that we need to take notes. Get a
Yeah.
notebook, get a little binder, even if it's one line, take
Mm-hmm.
notes. Oh
Mm-hmm.
boy, I said I was going to save $1,000, which means that every month I needed to save 100. But I'm finding it difficult to save $100.
Right.
Notes because
Right.
so and so and so happened that took my money. It was an emergency, so that when you see you don't achieve the goals, you know why,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Exactly. It allows you to see patterns, as you just said, the patterns, and if you're saving and your saving habits. What are if you are, if you set a goal, you can keep a journal of your progress from the time you establish it. What did you do? You can write it down. You can use digital. I mean, there are so many things that are available, right? You can use technology to help you do that. You can record it, however
Right.
you choose to do that, because everybody there's so many tools out there, so there's something for everyone. Not everybody likes to write, right? But you get the opportunity to, when you write things down or you listen to them or whatever method you choose, you get to see patterns, and you get to see, as you said, you know, every time, at this time of the month, I'm always having a problem with sticking to, putting the money in the bank. What we're transferring the money, what's going on at this time. And then you realize, oh, I have an additional bill that comes up, and that's why, I'm having this issue. Can I, you know, proactively pay for this so that I can make sure that, um, I'm saving the money that I said that I was going to. So it allows you to see, what patterns are taking place and what adjustments that you need to make. So it's really a good thing to skill to have, in addition to just setting a goal, but having the ability to write down so you can reflect on your progress.
And you get better at it as you go along. You get so maybe when you just start, you're like, what am I supposed to be writing? Just write, you know, and and you get better at it. You by now you would have had 6 months of practice
Mm-hmm.
and you understand your goals a little better. The fact is that if you set a goal with finance, or you set a goal with relationship, or you set a goal with health, then it means that you would probably go find some education on that area. So if it's health, you might find books, you might browse the internet, you might talk to your doctor, you might talk to a nurse, whatever. But you will find that just by setting that as a goal, that you start pursuing education in that regard. You find
Mm-hmm.
out how what it is to balance a checkbook. You find out what a financial statement is. You find out, how do you negotiate for a credit card.
Right.
What are the fees that you pay that maybe you can eliminate? So you have so much more knowledge now than you did in January, and so you can now reassess with your
Mm-hmm.
new education, and you might find out that you don't like those goals, and you might change them, right?
Right. Right, absolutely. You might find out, like you said, you don't like them, or it's not specific enough. Because one of the things that you have to make sure, and I think Catherine said it in the comments, she said SMART goals, right? And that's
Right.
essentially what I was saying, is that, you have to make sure that your goals are specific, and you really have to narrow it down.
Right.
It can't be a broad thing that is difficult for you to achieve. You want to really, if the goal is for you to, I don't know, lose weight or something like that. You want to, be specific. I would like to lose, I don't know, a realistic number. That's
Number,
another
right. Or
thing,
I would like
right?
to fit into a size 8 dress or a size
you know
12 dress or a size
right.
14 dress. Yeah,
And
whatever.
then,
Mm.
and whatever it is, and whatever the number is that you put there, and then you have to list out, well, what are the steps I'm going to take to get there. And those, and like I said, that has to also be realistic, right? It can't say, I want to lose weight and I'm going to, I don't know, do
Fit into a
yoga.
size 2 and you never fit into a size 2 in your entire life, right?
Do yoga and you're not interested in
Yeah,
yoga, or
right.
say you're gonna run when you have bad knees. You can't do that. It has to be something that you can commit to, that's realistic, and that you're able to achieve, and you have the time to do it, right? So you have to
Right.
have that specific time, and again, it has to be realistic, it has to be relevant, it has to be accessible, like this, like I can do this.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
mhm,
Like, so for example, somebody says, okay, I'm going to go back to school. But let's say you're a single parent, you have 3 kids, you have a full-time job, and you say you want to go back to school. Can you really do that? Because you go to work, you come home, you have 3 kids to take care of. How
mhm,
do you then find the time to go back to school?
right.
But it's not that it's not that you don't make that as a goal, but you recognize the constraints and
Mhm,
decide, okay, maybe I can go back to school, but I will get my degree in 6 years instead of 4, just because of those issues. Or you look around and you say, well, there is an after school program, maybe the kids can go there, so I get a couple hours to study something. But the whole point that we're coming back to is the importance of setting goals, the importance of doing the assessment,
mhm,
and checking your progress. So we at the bottom of the hour, I'm going to
mhm,
take a quick word from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation with Miss Michael, Miss Cleo Michael, about you know goal setting in general, but more specifically that milestone, that midway point, a reassessment, an inspection, and an accountability of how are we performing, and what went well, what didn't go so well, what completely crashed, what we killed
mhm.
it on, all of that. So stay tuned. I hope you stay with us. Come when we come back, it's going to get even more interesting, because I think this is probably one of the most important topics that we've discussed on this weekend interview this year. So we'll be right back with my guest, Ms. Cleo Michael. She is a certified life coach and a certified addiction professional. Stay tuned.
Presented by. Presented by. People say I've got a great smile. Well, I have to say, this is all thanks to the professional team at Beacon Dental Group right here in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I've got world-class dental care. Beacon Dental Group has expert and caring staff dedicated to providing the most advanced and satisfactory treatment in all aspects of oral health. Their services are designed to meet your needs and give you a perfect smile, too. General checkups, cosmetic surgery, Gemini laser service, and advanced procedures, all in a state-of-the-art facility. Call or visit Beacon Dental Group today, 1026 Blue Hill Avenue, Dorchester, Massachusetts, or call 617-282-2146 for a smile that lights the world.
How much Dominican history do you know? Want to learn some fun facts? We have a great and fun way to test your knowledge and learn more about our history. Get your copy of Dominic Anu, Dominica in Puzzle. Fun for the whole family. Available now on Amazon.com. Visit pushpast10.com to learn more. Email us at dominicainpuzzle@gmail.com or call 877-698-9894. Looking to promote your business, engage current customers, and reach new people? Well, look no further. From the basic presentation to a fully fledged advertisement, use your video ads to attract customers. At Man's Audiovisual Productions, we do just that. We produce videos for business and event promotions, product demo videos, animated explainer videos, fundraiser ads, and much, much more. Engage your clients and sell online. We customize the video to match your brand design. Guaranteed to play flawless on all devices, including smart TVs. Contact us at telephone number 203-690-4342 or 767-245-6238. Visit our website, mansaudiovisual.com, or email us at derekvideo@gmail.com.
To our sponsors. Uh, thank you so much. We have sponsors like Beacon Dental Health and Man's Audiovisual who have been sponsoring this weekend interview for years now. So thank you for that. Well, folks, tonight we're talking about goal setting. Uh, we in June. We are in June, and it's the halfway mark for the year, and we really want you to reassess how are you doing this year. So did you set goals in January? Did you set goals on your birthday? Did you set goals on your anniversary? Uh, what kind of goals did you set, and how are you doing with those goals? That's simply what it is. Did you set goals, and how are you doing with those goals? And if you didn't set any specific goals, why didn't you? And do you think you should? Do you think you would be only? And these are very personal, right? Each individual can decide what is important to them. And so somebody defines success as what it says, positive progress towards a worthy goal. So if you're making progress towards your goal, you are successful. Again, the word goal. So if you don't set a goal, how are you deciding what to do? Because in life there are several situations where you have to make a choice, and how do you decide which choice to make if you don't really have a destination in mind? So let's talk, because you are uh, a life coach.
Mhm.
Most people, I guess, can sort of understand and figure out a financial goal. Let me set a goal for savings. Let me set a goal so that I have enough savings to make a down payment on a car or a house, or let me save enough funds so when my kids get old enough, we can go to Disneyland, or let me save enough money so that once a year I can go to Creole Music Festival. Whatever it is that the goal is. There are two things I want to talk about. First of all, let's talk about some of the softer areas. And I say softer because they're not hard measurable. So let us say my goal is to have a better relationship with my son or my daughter or husband or father, whatever. But a relationship type goal. How does somebody go about making that goal measurable?
Well,
You know?
first of all, you have to break that down,
Mhm.
because having a better relationship with my son, daughter, husband, whomever, what does that mean? You know,
Right?
because what does that mean? What does that look like for you? So that's, when I was speaking earlier and I said you have to be specific. it starts right there with that statement. Have a better relationship, right? What does that mean? Does that mean that I want to improve our communication? You have to be able to be specific. What specifically do I want to address in this relationship? And then you can measure it, right? So if it's to improve your communication, then how often are you guys communicating with each other? Well, we only communicate once a month or once a year. So then my goal would be not necessarily it the you could to improve my relationship with him or her or whomever, but to maybe increase my frequency in communication. So I will, make the commitment to have two phone calls a week with my son who lives out of state or whatever.
Okay.
And then you can measure that. You can measure whether or not you're making two calls or not, right? I can see that I have called him once on Monday and then I didn't call him Friday or whatever the case may be. So sometimes being able to have a numerical value for a goal is good too, because you can measure numbers, right?
Right.
um, but you really have to narrow down. Your goal cannot be broad. I want to improve my relationship. That's too broad. That
Mhm.
and when it's that broad, then what does that mean? And chances are we're not gonna get there because I don't even know.
You know,
It's too big. It's too big. So narrow it down. What in the relationship am I looking for improvement? Is it communication? Is it
is it
being
time
more
spent
affectionate?
together?
Is it
Mhm.
time spent together? And then you want to look, you really want to analyze, well, how much time are we spending together? So I want to increase my time spent to, 50%. That would require me to have, an activity for us to do twice a week or twice a month or whatever it is. You know your relationship best, so you know what you're doing and what you're not doing. And then you can assess it based on the frequency that or your commitment to meet whatever it is. So it has to be, again, specific, narrow it down, don't make it general. And when you're making your goal, you need to ask yourself, can I measure this? Or how am I going to measure it? And if you don't know how to measure it, it's not a goal.
Not yet.
It's not a
Yeah.
good goal,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
So
mhm.
you want to
It's not a
go back.
smart grow.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, I like the way your professionalism shows up. I'm a layperson. I talk around something and then you take it and you put it in a really nice container that that the audience can identify with. I like that. It's because some persons might say, well, yeah, like I said, you can measure money, you can measure but how do you measure what you call quote unquote softer goals? But you just broke it down. Measure it in how much time we spend together, and maybe you look back and say, I have a better relationship with my child. But do you? What does that mean? Do you guys spend time together, and at the time, each of you guys on your own phone, and you just happen to be breathing oxygen in the same room? Um, Something like that. But so. I, where I'm going with that is you have to set a goal not for the goal itself, but what is the reason for setting the goal? You understand what I mean? So we say, okay, I want to improve my relationship with X. Why?
Mm-hmm.
So let's
Right.
talk about that aspect. When we're doing the assessment, right?
Mm-hmm.
We say, yeah, we set a goal to achieve something.
Right.
And we're in June, we are 50% there. But how does that feel to us? Does it feel like we're killing ourselves and our life is so much unenjoyable because we're pursuing this goal? Or does it feel good that we're pursuing the goal? Or is it that, yeah, I'm killing myself, but I'm halfway towards getting my down payment for my car or for my house or for my vacation? So how important is it to have a specific reason as to why you're setting that goal.
I think having a reason makes it meaningful,
Mhm.
and also helps inspire you, right? It gives you purpose, right? We don't want to just be making goals that serve no purpose and wasting our time.
Right,
So having a goal, you know, understanding the purpose behind it makes it more meaningful and also makes us more committed to it. And like as you said in the example that you were given, someone who has created a goal, are they overwhelmed? Are they, you know, not managing things properly? You know, are they taking time for self care? Because sometimes we can make goals and have all these things that we want to do, and then again, it's not realistic. But not only that, we have a lot of different hats that we wear. We got to do, like for me, for example, I made the decision to go back to school. What was I thinking? uh, Go back to school at this time. I've got three kids running around, and I'm in school full time, and I have a business. And so that was an interesting goal, but it was a goal that was needed. I enrolled. I took all the steps to enroll, but now I'm at the point where I have all these hats that I wear. I do want to achieve the goal, which the goal is to get another degree, but how am I going to stick to that goal um, realistically and not get burnt out? So in order to do that, I know these hats I have to wear and they're non-negotiable. Now I have to manage my time better, right? Have priorities, list things by priorities, what needs to get done now and what can wait later, right? And I have to take care of myself, because if I'm not taking care of myself, nothing is happening. And so when you set goals, you have to, again, look at how that goal is going to fit into your life currently. I had to do that. And one of the things that I had to do was also be proactive, which with managing my stress, right? So I'm not going to wait till I'm stressed out to then figure out, oh man, I'm overwhelmed. I need an out. I need to have things in place before it even gets there. And I always say, if you are in a crisis and that's when you're trying to find a solution, you're too late, right? You have to have those things in place before it becomes a crisis. So for me, what I did, because I know I'm going to be in school, have the kids to manage, I map out my time and I allocate certain times to certain things. But one of the things that has to be in there is self care. Either I'm exercising, listening to music, have some type of downtime or something, some amount of time for myself where I don't become emotionally exhausted, because some things just have to get done. But if I'm not okay, they're not going to get done. So we have to make sure that, again, I wanted to go back to school, but how is that going to fit into all the things that I have going on right now? And I have to prioritize things, but I have to prioritize myself, right?
right,
So,
right. And so what's coming out of this conversation is the importance of being aware,
mm-hmm.
being self-aware, being able to understand who we are. So for example, some folks might get caught up, all right, especially from our culture, our Caribbean culture, where education is so really drummed into us. So we went to primary school, went to high school, we went to secondary school, college became automatic, and now we go to college and they say, okay, I have a first degree. By all means, I should get a master's degree, and you get a
Right.
master's degree. By all means, I should try to get a doc. And you ever stopped and said, does this goal fit with where I want to be?
Right.
Where does going to school to get a master's degree fit in my life? And what am I doing that master's degree? And does it fit in where I want to be as a person? And so I'm picking obvious fruit, but in terms of goals that we set, sometimes we can get caught up, you know?
Yes.
So for example, I want to take vacation once a year, right? To go or whatever. but how does that fit with who I want to be? If, for example, my goal is to, I don't know, have a business or whatever, and then instead of keeping my resources to start my business, I find myself going on vacation because that is a popular thing to do.
Right.
So talk to folks about the importance when you set in goals. We talk about the why. You want to know why I need to achieve that goal, but to have a correct answer to a why is to really fit it into our image of ourselves and who we want to be. How does that why fit into who we want to be? How important is that awareness um, exercise?
It's absolutely important. It's going to help. First of all, I think one of the key points you said is being able to self-reflect and assess whether or not this fits into the vision that you have for yourself. Like, how is this goal going to advance whatever vision I have? So if as you said, I'm starting out a business and I am choosing to go on vacation and I don't have the time to dedicate to the business, then that's probably not a good idea,
Right?
right?
Hmm.
It has to be something that, everything kind of has to fit together. And sometimes we can set goals and not really have the commitment piece, right? It sounds like a great idea at the time, but I didn't think it all the way through. And that's why you do have to have that self reflection so that it can bring things to your awareness of, again, what's working, what's not working. Is this realistic? Does this fit into my life right now? You know, is this a good idea? Do I need to put this off? Or what do I need to change in order for me to achieve it? And most importantly, am I willing to do the work consistently? Because we have to be consistent with our action. Nothing is going to change if there is no consistent action taking place, right? So
Right.
we can set goals, but if we're not actively and consistently taking action, absolutely nothing is going to change. You have to first believe in yourself. And I tell people this all the time. Transformation happens when belief in ourselves means consistent action. So you have to
Mm.
first believe in yourself, and then you have to make the commitment to yourself that I am going to take consistent action until I achieve that goal. And that could be as simple as taking steps to get there and then evaluating those steps and making sure they are the right steps. Because sometimes we might think, this might be the way to do it, and it may not be the way to do it. So, going back, evaluating, and again, we there are common themes that we're hearing tonight, right? And the common
Right.
themes are they have to be realistic, they have to be specific, there has to be a realistic time frame, right? We have to reassess and make sure that this is working. What have I learned? What did I learn? At this point, what have I learned? What's working? What's not working? Do I need to make any changes? I don't need to make any changes. I can continue on. These are the things that's happening. Does this fit into my life? Is it relevant to my life right now? And then we move from there, and we have to take care of ourselves because we don't want to be so goal driven that you can't even enjoy the things that you're working towards.
Right.
so you
You're
have to
busy
make,
achieving and you cannot enjoy it.
and you can't enjoy it. What's the point in that, right? Our
Right.
goals are supposed to be something that's going to bring us fulfillment in our lives. I'm hoping so, right?
Right.
I went back to school to get this master's degree so that it can help me to fulfill my goal of helping other people. So it has to, although along the ways it
Hmm.
is a challenge, but that doesn't mean, but I know that I'm working towards this goal, and I am going to consistently take action, which means I'm going to make sure that I sit down at the computer for the allotted time that I said that I did, which means I'm going to take a break when I'm supposed to take a break. I have to have that commitment to what I say I'm going to do. And most importantly, I have to hold myself accountable. And if you struggle with holding yourself accountable, this is where you bring in other people that you trust that can help not only give you feedback, constructive feedback. You don't want to listen to those people that keep saying, "Oh, you ain't gonna do that. That's not gonna work. Why would you go do that?" You don't want to listen to them. They're not helpful. But constructive feedback that is going to help you grow, and most importantly, they can hold you accountable to the things that you say you're going to do. So you need to be able to hold yourself accountable. And sometimes people struggle with that, and they need to get someone else to help hold them accountable to the goals that they set for themselves.
Right. You know, this is going to sound like a plug, but it's not. I promise this is not an infomercial. But that is where a coach can come in, right?
Right.
Because some of the things that you talk about and you talk about them like it's the most natural thing, some of us are just unaware that that is necessary.
Right.
So we don't normally feel like we need a coach. It's almost like you have a small business and you don't feel like you have an account. You need an accountant or you need
Yes.
a finance person until you happen to have a finance person and you realize, wow,
Yeah.
if I knew that
Yeah.
5 years ago, I would have avoided that
This.
crisis and that stress and this, and I would have been able to take advantage of this opportunity. I would have grown by so much. And so one of the things I want folks to take away from tonight's discussion is consider getting professional help.
Mm-hmm.
Not professional help because you're mentally challenged or you have mental stress. It could be that. But I'm saying, even though you are totally okay and you're whatever it is, if you go to someone who is professional in that field, that person can help you put everything in perspective. That person can help you develop some skills. They can point towards some skills that you need to develop. They can point towards some things that simple things that you can do. And you as a lay person may not necessarily have thought of those things. You will eventually learn them, but why do you want to take 5, 6, 7 years to learn something if you can go sit in a chair for a 1 hour session or a 1 hour sessions and get somebody to guide you? The, the Olympics is coming up, and I want to make that analogy where at the Olympics we will see the most elite athletes. They are the best. They can run faster than anybody else on the planet. If how many billion people we have on the planet, those are the fastest runners, the highest jumpers, the best basketballers. They all have coaches.
Right.
So why do we think that we who are just on the average would not benefit from a coach? And so I'm going to give you the opportunity, okay, to give people your contact information, but also do a better job than I just did in explaining to folks why it's okay. It's actually a desirable thing to talk to a trained coach, a certified coach, a professional. Talk to them. There's somebody who wants to join the conversation.
Yeah, I have a cat. She
Yeah,
wants attention too. She wants to set some goals.
exactly, right? So talk to them as to why that is could be beneficial. What's your cat's name?
Ginger.
Ginger.
Just gingerly getting her way into the. This is one as I push her away. She's coming into the camera. So let me move over a little bit so she's not in there. But
You need a cat walker.
I know she needs a coach. Get your life right.
Yeah.
So, well, in any event, the reason why it would be beneficial to have a coach is that you have someone, first of all, that can help you, right, set goals, because that's what coaches do. They do assist you with setting goals. They help you to guide you along the way,
Mhm.
right? They provide that guidance that you would need in order for you to be successful along the way. They help you explore things, explore your skills, explore your strengths, right? Because that's also important in helping you to achieve your goal. And it's not really, people get bogged down because they think, oh man, I gotta go talk to someone. But it's really as simple as the conversation as we're having right now, right?
Hmm.
They help you and assist you with get ironing out those things that maybe you're stuck on,
Yeah.
right? So they help you to get unstuck and they help hold you accountable. That's the other piece. The coach is going to hold you accountable to achieving those goals. So it's helpful because you're not alone. You have the support that you will need in order for you to address those goals that you have for yourself.
Right. And so Margot is saying I need professional help. Margot, I'm going to give you Cleo's number, and so you can contact Cleo. But no, but but seriously, getting talking to a professional has gotten such a stigma attached to it that it's unfortunate because of that stigma,
Mm-hmm.
folks only think that you need a coach because you're not well. Yes, if
Right.
you're not well, you need help, but you need help before you are not well, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
coaches help with a number of things,
yeah.
and they specialize, right? For me, I do emotional health, right? So you kind of specialize to what your niche is, right?
Mhm, right.
It helps people, so you don't have to feel like I can't go talk to you. Can go talk to a coach about anything. Pretty much these days, because I promise you, there's a coach for that. They even have, what I was talking about earlier, there's accountability coaches, and that's what they do. They work to hold you accountable so you can reach where you need to go. And at the end of the day, the coach's motivation is to help you work towards the goals that you have for yourself so you feel fulfilled. So it kind of takes some of the stress off, and you have, like I said, you have that person who genuinely cares about seeing you win, right? That's why we're here. We want to see you win. We want to see you, feel get that fulfillment, be in peace, feel like you're achieving your purpose in life, achieving the things that you will make you happy and make you feel like, yes, when I leave this earth, I feel like I have achieved what I want to achieve, or I get to leave behind a legacy of XYZ, whatever
Right.
it is,
Right. You can look back and look at your experience and feel joy
Yeah.
about that. Like simple things like a coach gonna tell you, take notes, and this is how you take notes, and this is what you should note, and this is how often you want to um reflect on your notes, and this is what you do in the morning, this is and all of those guidances that you need. So tell folks, you said that they can find you on setyourselffree.io,
Yes, set
and
yourself free. Yeah.
uh-huh, on your Facebook. You have a Facebook?
Yes, I do. It's Set Yourself Free on Facebook as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's Set Yourself Free LLC
Hmm.
on
On
Instagram.
Instagram.
But
Hmm.
everything is Set Yourself Free for the
Right.
most.
Yeah, if you just
Um,
Google this thing it. Hmm.
yeah, and you can go on LinkedIn. You'll find me there too. So I'm on all the social media sites, even on TikTok. Even though my daughter hijacks it all the time. You got 100 pictures on there of her doing random stuff, but yeah, it's a pleasure.
Let me just scroll through some of the comments quick. Margot says, it's easier for me to get things done for others. Prioritizing is my issue. I tend to put my goals on the back burner. That is more common than we realize.
Yes,
It's so
it is.
easy to break a commitment to ourselves so how do we deal with that?
Well, I mean, you got to make yourself a priority, Margot. It's great to help other people rather, but how does that make you feel that you're not accomplishing your goals? And I know a lot of us get joy and pleasure from helping other people, but when it's all said and done and it's just you alone and your thoughts, how do you feel about the fact that, what, I set this goal for myself and I didn't achieve it? You have to make yourself a priority. It doesn't mean that you can't help other people, but they're getting their needs met through you and you're not getting your needs met, and they're progressing and you're not progressing. So
Right.
you want to make sure that you do some things for you and be happy, and be proud about the things that you are achieving yourself. And most importantly, like I said, you have to set that boundary. You have to be able to say, no, I'm gonna do this for me. And I know as women, we love to take care of people. We're nurturers. We want to take care of everybody. But I'm gonna tell you, you can't give from an empty cup. So fill your cup up first. You know what they say, put your oxygen mask on first. It's the same thing. It you can have both. You can help people, you can help yourself, and you can be real good at doing it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because that thing about pouring from an empty cup, it seems as though every time you miss a deadline that you set for yourself, you are emptying your cup. Your cup is going
So,
on a little lower. The way
yeah,
you can keep your cup full is to keep your commitments to yourself,
there you go.
and
That's right.
therefore you can help even more others. So this guy says for you to be able to do that, you have to take a heavy dose of vitamin N in the morning. Vitamin N.
Hmm.
And I ask him what is that. He says no. You have to
Yes,
learn to say no. That's the
I
most
agree.
important thing in prioritizing yourself. I know Margot knows how to say no, but Margot, I didn't want to encourage her. Maybe you should say no a little bit more. And so you'll find that you are keeping your goals and your commitment even better. All right, Margot. So
Yes, yes,
I give you
Margot.
permission to say no twice as much as
Yes,
you're saying no right now.
yes,
Yeah. Catherine says you are the first and most important client always.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That is
Yeah, you put
difficult to
yourself first.
realize, but it's so true. It is so true.
Hmm. Yeah.
Who else is there? Uh, Alvin says life is a challenge with or without goals, but more so without goals. Absolutely, Alvin. Well,
Yeah.
life may not be a challenge without goals. You just that you
Hmm.
have no idea where you're going to be tomorrow or next week or whatever. Okay, you're just living aimlessly. So
Right.
maybe there's no challenge there, until you end up on the rocks and you say, "Oh shit, I just wrecked." But yes, I hear what you're saying. If you don't have goals, you you are increasing
Hmm.
exponentially the chances of a bad outcome. You know, he talked. I said, do we sometimes set too many or too high goals that may not be realistic from the start? So that also is important, where we overestimate our ability. So it's New Year's Eve and we say, you know what, I'm going to lose 10 pounds a week. I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to save $1,000 a month. I'm going to, I'm going to.
Hmm.
And so we set goals that are too high
Yes,
and we set too many goals.
that's right.
How does it work if because you said earlier we wear multiple hats. So if we
Right.
have all those hats, it's expected that we have goals in each one of those roles. Eh?
Hmm.
How do you go about managing all of those competing goals? Let's say
My suggestion would be to prioritize,
that
right?
would
Take care.
prioritize. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Take care of the things that need to be taken care of, right? Because maybe it might be a priority for you to save, and it might not be a priority, or it might be a priority for you to work on your health, because the doctor says, hey, listen, like for some of my clients, if you drink again, you're gonna die. Like that might be a priority if you want to live, right? And everything else might fall behind. There's certain things that just have to get done. So I would suggest, prioritizing and then going from there.
Mhm.
I'm gonna start work on this. And sometimes we can be working on too many things at once, and then we don't finish anything. It's like, I'm working on this, I'm working on that, nothing is getting done, because halfway through this, I'm looking at what I have to do over here, and now I'm overwhelmed. So too many goals is not good either, because
Yeah,
you
right,
can
right.
be have your hands in so many pots, and not get anything accomplished. So prioritize. Okay, my health is a priority right now. I'm going to work on that, and everything else will fall in place after. It just depends on, again, the situation, who you are, your work ethic, your time management. You know, knowing you as a person is also important. Like, is this feasible for me to do? And then going from there.
You know, I'm going to share something that I learned. Um, Somebody was saying that you may have five things to do, and all of them are priority in their own right. How do you choose which one to do first? And he says you have to look at them and see which one, if you completed that one, it makes everything else easier.
Right.
So if you have um, priorities, let's say with your kids, you have priorities with with your finances, you have priorities with your relationship, you have financial priorities, you have your health priorities, let us say. When you look at all of them, they're all important. They all seem to be pressing at you. You know, they all seem to be pressing at you. Your husband is saying, you know, if you continue to do this, this relationship is over. Your child looks like they're going astray. Your boss is on your case and whatever. What if your health is so bad that you get a stroke or you get a breakdown? All of
Right.
those things goes out of the window. So you look at that and say, you know what, I need to do my health.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I do my health, then I can deal with my kid, then I can deal with my boss. The
Right.
husband can go if he wants to, you know, so, whatever. But but that's what I'm saying though, that that was one way because people deal with that, you know, where
Right.
everything seems to be pressing at you all at one time and you get scattered because they all seem to be important. One of the
Right.
strategies that I learned is that you look at those five things
Mm-hmm.
and which one do you decide to work on, is see if there is one of them, if you complete that one, it makes
Right.
the others easier, it
Right.
makes the others and so that is one of the ways. But folks, again, it comes to knowing yourself,
Yeah.
knowing who you are, who you want to be, and prioritize the one that takes you in that direction.
Right. And for me, I'll make it. I'll draw an example. I work with clients, like I said, that have substance abuse issues, right?
Mhm.
So they have, they'll come in and they're like, I don't want to do this. They don't want to do treatment, right? And they're like, well, I have my they're like, I know I was sentenced to do this, but I don't want to do it, or I know I have to come into residential treatment, but I have a job and I have to take care of my kids and this and that and the other, just much like what you just said,
Mhm.
right? And it's like, listen, if you're not clean and sober, you ain't got no job.
Right.
You ain't got nothing, right?
Right, right,
So
right.
that's a good example of that situation where you're saying, you have to fix the thing that is going to make things easier. If I'm clean, I can get a job. If I'm clean, I can take the kids to school. If I'm clean, my health improves. If all these things get to better, and I can, if I take care of this, I can, if I'm less stressed, I can improve my relationship, right? Because
Right.
now I can give to the relationship. But if I'm stressed, I'm irritable. I may say things that I don't need to say. I may not spend time with somebody because, listen, I'm tired. I just want my space to myself. All these things. But if I'm taking care of me, right, first and foremost, and I'm addressing the things that are important, then I have the time to give to the relationship. So it's important. And Judy, who is my sister, she says, know what's important to you. Yes, sis,
Mhm.
absolutely. Thank you for listening and supporting me. So yeah.
Hey, Judy. I know Judy. Okay, so I think we've covered quite a bit. And the audience are responding by saying that. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, Catherine says, yes, you have to make the goal hard enough to inspire you, but not so hard that it demotivates you. Again,
absolutely.
that's keeping with what we say. When you set your goal, make sure that you know where it fits
Yes.
within your entire self of who you are, being
Yes.
self, being very, very self-aware. Who else is on here, guys? If you don't make a comment, I don't see you. So, do I think I've covered everybody so far? Oh, Jolly. Good night. Yeah, I see Jolly is here. I was listening to one of her CDs a couple days ago. Um, Shanika says accountability partner helps with goal setting. So yeah, we
Yep.
spoke about the importance of having a coach. But if that is not the step you want to take right now, you can get to an accountability partner where it's just somebody that knows what you say you're going to do, and
Yep.
they can watch you sideways when you didn't do it.
Exactly. Like, you know, you said you was going to do that. What's going on? Should you really be having this honey bun right
Right?
now?
But no, an accountability partner is somebody that you can trust, you know,
Yes.
not
Yes.
somebody that's going to make you feel bad every time, but somebody who's going to not also say, oh, yeah, that's fine. You can go to the gym next week if
Right.
you don't feel like going this week. So
Yeah.
it has to be
Not an
someone.
enabler for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly, right? Not a sooty way, as we say in Dominica.
Yes. Yes. Definitely not.
Right. So yeah, accountability partner. So again, we're back to a smart goal, right? It has to be
Yes.
specific. It has to be measurable.
Mm-hmm.
What is the A?
Attainable. Uh,
Achievable. The R
yeah.
is relevant,
Mm-hmm.
and it has to have a time frame.
Time.
A
Yes,
time
that's
frame.
right.
Smart goals. So I'm going to
All
give you the.
right, you're right. You've been paying attention. You
I've been paying attention in class now. Now is to apply it, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's exactly right. Knowledge is not power if we don't use it.
If you don't
Otherwise, it's
use it,
just, yeah, right? So you absolutely true. If you're not applying it, then it's just there, right? It just
right?
exists.
Hmm.
And so we have to, now we have the knowledge, we have to put it into action. And this, here's one thing I would say. I didn't say this earlier. Sometimes when we are working towards a goal, we can become discouraged, right? Maybe something doesn't go right, and we get discouraged. Um, when that happens, of course, feel it and go through that process, but don't stay stuck in it, right?
Right.
Sometimes a mishap or a misstep or it's just an opportunity for you to learn. So instead of looking at it as a failure, look at it as, you know, what can I learn from this? Don't quit before the miracle happens, right? Just because something didn't go right or everything isn't falling into place immediately, it's easy to say I'm done, right?
Right.
But
Hmm.
most of the times, you know, you're not going to see the end result unless you stick with it. And that's where your support network comes into play, where the people you surround yourself with, your self-care, all of these things are important so that when, you know, that disappointment comes, I'm not gonna throw the towel in. And I know from experience because I've done it. I've lived the I quit. Got
Yep.
the t-shirt and everything to go with it, right? But from experience and really going through it myself, I had to get to a point where I had to say, you know what? I can't quit every time, you know, there's something discouraging or something disappointing happens. Um, I'll never achieve anything, right? So we have to, you know, again, surround yourself with people who believe in you, who is going to hold you up and help help you walk across that the difficult, you know, path that you're going to be experiencing in that time. And like I said, don't beat yourself up. You can self reflect, you can gain awareness, but you can't beat yourself up. What you can do is say, I'm going to learn from this. This is an opportunity for me to grow. What else can I do? Is there any other option? And seek, you know, like I said, seek guidance from others because there might
Exactly.
be somebody who can help you.
There is somebody who can help you, you know.
Yes,
And nowadays, with all the information available, you don't even have to be somebody that you meet. You can find a book that somebody wrote,
exactly.
and the person can help you that way. You can find a blog. You can find some kind of online stuff
Right.
that can help. It doesn't always have to be a live person. And
Right.
as you talk about quitting, I'm going to date myself, because when I was a young man, there was this hip hop song that was like too legit to quit.
Oh yes.
You're right. And so one of the things I think that you can do is to make your goal legit.
Yeah.
You make your goal legit, so you know why you set that goal. It's a legitimate goal because this is why I say I want to achieve that. And when you're clear on that, that goal is a legitimate goal because it's smart. It
Right.
meets all the criteria of being smart. Plus, you know your why. It's a legitimate goal. And
Mm-hmm.
if that goal becomes legit, then it should be too legit to quit, right?
Yes, that's
Um,
right. Your why is important.
yeah, exactly. Very, very, very important. And
Yes.
also, when we feel like quitting, is because maybe we're going through a challenging stage, a hard stage,
Mm-hmm.
and powering through a hard stage is where the growth happens.
Right. Exactly. Like I said, don't quit before the miracle
Don't quit before the
happens.
miracle, as it's
Yeah.
just about to happen.
It's
When
just
it,
there.
yeah, when you feel like, man, I cannot drop on the floor and do one more set of push-ups. I feel like if I go do one more set of push-ups, I'm going to die.
Yes.
That is when you have to drop on the floor and do those
Yes.
push-ups, because that is where you're going to grow.
Mm-hmm. You
So
gotta
make
reach deep down and find the strength.
yes, because you
Push
have it.
yourself. Yeah,
You
we
have it.
do. We do.
Mhm.
We do. It's all up here, right? If
Right,
I tell myself, I know I'm going to, I feel this way, but even if I feel this way, can I overcome it and reach it? Absolutely, I can.
right.
Absolutely can. Hmm.
And if you get that belief and you really believe it, then you know you're going to be able to do it. You will stay with it. All right. So we have to wrap up
Yes,
before Ginger comes back and try to get you off
I
the chair again,
know.
right? Ginger, give us a break.
She
Um,
did.
let's wrap it up.
Yes.
What's the outcome? What's the takeaway, I should say,
Mhm.
from tonight's conversation about really assessing your goals. And if you did not set a goal, go get some paper and write down some goals. But if we assume that I have some of the smartest audience and well informed audience, and anywhere in social media sphere, they have
Yes.
goals, right? So
Yeah.
this is about assessing goals. What's the takeaway from our conversation that you want them to have?
Well, there are many takeaways,
Hmm.
but um, a few would be, first of all, you got to believe in yourself, right? You
Believe
want to
in yourself.
believe in yourself. That's the top, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
That because everything start with that belief system.
Right.
how you
Right.
think, how you think is going to drive how you feel, and how you feel is going to drive how you act. So if I feel and believe I can do it, then I'm going to take the steps to make sure it happens, right?
Right.
So
Right.
you want to believe in yourself. Again, we want to set smart goals, so they have to be specific, they have to be measurable, they have to be achievable, relevant, realistic, and there has to be a time frame set to it, right? And then once we have set the goals, we want to break it down into smaller goals, steps, even, and as we go along, we can keep a journal. We can keep, however you choose to um, take notice of the progress that you're making towards those steps that will eventually lead to your goal, right? And then assess it along the way. What are my wins? What did I excel at, and celebrate that. It's okay. Like, I wasn't calling you we weren't having this communication in our relationship, and now we're able to communicate. That's something to celebrate. My husband didn't ever say anything to me. Like, some men are not talkative, right? So some women might want their men to be more expressive, right? And he's coming home, and he might not be saying too much, but he's saying much more than he was saying before, right? So he needs to celebrate that, and you need to celebrate him, and together we will continue to grow together, right? So celebrating your wins, whether they're big, whether they're small, not getting stuck in disappointment, and
Not
seeing
getting
it as
stuck in disappointment.
right, right,
And acknowledge it and
yes,
move past it, right?
and move exactly, exactly, and keep moving. Just see it
Mhm.
as an opportunity for growth. And like I said, get an accountability partner. Make sure you have a great support system of people that will give you constructive feedback. And you can do this. Like I said, the change will happen when you believe in yourself and you take that consistent action. If you're doing that, you making progress.
Yeah,
You getting there.
exactly. And tonight was about assessing.
Yes.
Tonight was about going into your goals and assessing. And it becomes an easier exercise if you've been taking notes.
Yes, absolutely. Because you can see the progress and you can see what worked, because that's what we're assessing, right? To see how well we're doing. Are we making progress? Are we not making progress? What worked? What didn't work? What could we do better? That kind of thing.
So yeah, I have goals. They're just not written down there in my head. Are those really goals?
Well, it can be if you are good at keeping track of them. Some people, like I said, not everybody can, writing things down works for them. Some people can keep it up there and work towards it, but I found that it's better to write it down, or
Yeah,
have
yeah.
some type of way that you're keeping track of it, because sometimes it's up here, but you're not gonna hold yourself accountable, right? So
How do you
uh,
remember what it is that you said? You know?
you better be really good at remembering.
Right, right. So we want to say I want to say write it down.
Yeah,
Yeah, write it down.
yeah,
So
definitely.
write it down and then take notes along the way
Yeah,
so that when you get to a rest area, a way bridge,
yeah,
and you pull off the road and you see those exits that say trucks only, way bridge over here. You pull into that rest area. You go onto that scale, and you can assess.
yeah,
This is the progress I've made. This is the
yeah.
progress I have not made. This is the progress I don't want to make anymore,
Right,
and so on. So that's what tonight was about. It's about making assessments. So having set your goals, having taken notes. Now, if you had not taken notes, you know now that you should be taking notes,
right.
and those notes might turn into a bestseller.
Yeah, exactly, right. Now you can help guide someone else
Mhm.
on how to do it, right? How to do the progress, the process. And again, the notes help you see your progress, right? Sometimes people can't see their progress, but when you write something down and you go back and look at it, you get to see how far you've come, and that's important for building your esteem, right? So yeah, definitely writing it down is beneficial.
It's very, very beneficial because all of us have had that experience where we meet someone and they're telling us about something that's going on in their life, and you've walked that road before, and you
Right.
can kind of sort of tell them what your experience was, but you know to
Mhm.
yourself there are gaps. You know there were light bulb moments. What if you had written that down and you
Right.
could go back into that time and pull out a notebook and share with that person, how
Yeah,
much
absolutely.
you would feel really good. That person would benefit from it, and they could learn that way. So we encourage you to take your notes and to record, whether it's a voice note or a written note,
Right.
um, as
Yeah.
you go along. As you go
And
along.
I'm sure there's an app for that.
Yeah, definitely is an app for that. And so this is June, so this is the halfway mark.
Yes.
Um, our destination is December, so we encourage folks at the at September to do an assessment in September. Because
Yeah.
if you do an assessment in September, you can finish the year strong and you can start planning for 2025. So you don't have to feel like people say, oh, New Year's resolution is just a fad. We say, no, 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 it's not a New Year's resolution. Since September, I've been talking about doing this in 2025.
Hmm.
So the importance of regular assessment, but also setting important, very, very important milestones. So this is the halfway mark,
Mm-hmm.
50%. Let's plan to do it again at 75%. All right. So I want you to send the audience off with some encouragement. Let's assume that they did well, so we congratulate them and let's
Yes,
encourage
absolutely.
them to keep on pushing.
Yeah, I absolutely. I mean, if you have met your goal, congratulations to you. If you are have not, continue working. You know, it will happen. You will get there as long as you're doing the work. Like I said, get the support system. Make sure you're practicing self care, taking care of your health, taking care of yourself overall, making sure you get enough sleep. You know, that's important. You know, and making yourself a priority at the end of the day. You guys absolutely can do this. You know what? When you wake up in the morning every day, I want you to say, "I can do this. I will do this. I
Go to the
am do
mirror,
it."
right? Do it in the mirror,
Yes,
right?
yes, I can. I am, and I will. And by the time that September rolls around, you're gonna be like, "Wow," you know, because you have to change the way that you speak. You know, to yourself. So
Exactly. Right. So, folks, there you have it. Judith Thomas Christopher says, know what is most important to you. So make sure your goals reflect what is important to you, and therefore you understand why you are pursuing those goals, and the joy that it will bring you when you achieve those goals. And
yes.
so, folks, I hope you agree with me that tonight's conversation was a brilliant one, very, very relevant. I like the participation. Thank you so much for those of you who participated. Thank you to our esteemed um, in-house coach, Cleo, Miss Cleo Michael. It's
Yes.
always a pleasure to have you on.
Yes.
And so, take a couple minutes. Let's just wrap up this conversation.
Well, definitely thank you to everyone who participated. I enjoyed reading your comments; they were spot on. And thank you for having me, and thank you to your team for having me, and thank you all for listening. And I wish everyone the best as they continue on throughout the rest of this year.
All right, thank you so much. And Margot, thank you, Margot. Said that Alvin is, I guess, is saying that his goal was to get enough sleep and he's guilty of getting too much sleep. Is that what he's saying? I think I think it's the opposite.
Alvin.
I think it's the opposite. You have to know why you want to get enough sleep, and you have to also define what is enough sleep.
Right, there you
Is it
go. Not too much sleep.
is it 8 hours a night? Um,
Ah.
is it 8 hours a night? Is it 10 hours a night? You have to
Yeah.
decide. Catherine is in great discussion. Thank you, Catherine. You and your contribution made it great, and
Yes,
everybody's
absolutely.
contribution. I really like the participation. I think goal setting is one of the most important activities. We set goals. We
Hmm.
all of us do. We just maybe don't do it deliberately enough.
Hmm.
Um, and we maybe don't recognize that that's what we're doing. But write it down. Write it down. Take your notes to your assessment, and let us see where it takes us on the other side. And the only thing I would say in closing is
Yes,
that tonight we focused a lot on personal goals, but
yes,
you can also set goals for your family. You can
right.
set goals for your organization. You can set goals for your community. You can set goals for your country,
Yes,
and just really do your part in moving whatever entity that you are setting goals for in that direction. So elections in November, set a goal for that and just move.
show up, right, and vote.
Yeah, and vote, right? Right,
Get
right,
those
right.
people
E-
out.
Exactly, exactly. Make sure that we don't walk that road again.
Yes,
Yeah, but thank you so much, Cleo. I wish you all the best. I need to go and look for setyourselffree.io and show up
yes,
as an avatar. right?
Yes, you do. You do. Yeah, you jump if you jump in right after, I'll jump in with you and you'll see.
set yourself
Yeah.
set yourself
Yeah.
free at IO. All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right, so folks, good night, and let's do this. Yeah. All right. Good night, Cleo. Thanks.
Good night. Thank you.
Hmm. Well, Sam.